It's about 9:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, and stove worked great last night. I actually smoked myself out once, but I really had a much better time this time, my second time out with it, managing the stove, so it's going really well. I have my new clear plastic door in. Loving it. Loving it. I know Snow Trekker offered a clear door as an option, and I considered it, but the thing I didn't like about it was it had a zipper that went down the center of the door, which is great coming in and out, but it's such a small tent and it's a small door, and it really wouldn't have left that much of a view, and I really wanted to be able to see right out. And I just have a tie out, the little orange tie out there. I just pull the whole door back and tie it out to the pole over here. So it works all right. It's not the most pretty thing to tie back, but it's fine. And of course, it's not as effective as zippering up and down when you want to come in and out. But for how often I'm actually going to put it in place, I like it. So it's good. So I've got some breakfast warming up. Going to eat that and then do a tour of my tent and some of the things I did. Good morning. Well, it's Saturday morning, late Saturday morning, about 11 o'clock at Silent Lake. The other girls have gone for a hike, and I've decided to stay behind and just shoot a little bit of video and just relax at my tent, because I really have been wanting to get out in my tent this year, and I haven't actually been out in it but one other time. So I really want to spend some time in it, but I also want to take you for a tour of some things I've done inside. So come along. So it's a pretty tight fit, so pardon the filming, but there isn't a lot to see, but I want to show you a few things I've done. So first of all, one of the challenges I had was coming up with some flooring that I thought would be really really good, really non-slip, and I got this stuff at the dollar store. It comes in a 2x5 foot roll, and it does not have any backing on it, no rubber backing, so it's not waterproof, but that's kind of good because it means basically that if you spill anything on it, it'll go through anyway. What I love about it is completely non-slip. And what I did was I took some of the pieces and I made it too big. All of that along the side I folded over. I'm going to get rid of it at home because it was bigger than I needed. So I'm going to make some adjustments at home and redo it. But the pieces I put together by overlapping them, putting holes in them and using zip ties just to keep them together, and it works really well. So this piece here, which I'm trudging on constantly, hasn't moved at all. So fantastic. It seems to come up from the floor pretty well. It will, stick to the floor, kind of freeze down a bit, but it seems to pull up rather easily. Tomorrow when I pack up will be a real good indication of just how well it comes up, but I'm really happy with it. When I got up this morning, all the snow was evaporated or melted through it, and I had a pretty dry floor to step out onto and get dressed. However, it was a little chilly on the feet. I wouldn't say it's insulated, but it is non-slip, and that was my priority personally. I also brought my chair pad, and one of the things I did is I have a foam chair pad, and I actually made a pocket out of the Reflexit, so it makes a nice cushy chair pad, extra insulated, which is fantastic. All right, the piece de resistance. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff hung up here. I'm going to move. It is a tight fit in my little tent. I've got a line up here that I hang all my stuff on, my mitts and everything. But this is the thing that I'm most proud of, and that is my organizer. Let's see if I can get back far enough to get a shot of that. So it basically, as you can see, hangs between the two poles at the back of the tent, and it has multiple pockets to hold things, including a hook to hang things off of. So I'll just show you what I've got in mine. So I've got some things tucked in there that shouldn't be, but I put all my dishes and plates and everything in this pocket here. All my cutlery goes up into here. And I did elasticize them so that things aren't flopping forward. It keeps it nice and tight and snug in there. A couple other pockets to hold things, whether it's my Nalgene, extra mitts, that sort of thing. My tripod. And then I have these pockets, which, and I haven't closed this one and I should, which I've lined with Reflexit. And I keep my electronics, my batteries and my cords in there. And I actually have ordered from Amazon some, it's actually a food warmer. So it's a pocket that's to keep food warm. And I'm actually going to use it to line these pockets when it comes in, whenever that is. So hopefully that should help in keeping my electronics warm, because keeping those batteries good for when you need to charge your phone or your camera is really important. I have a couple pockets. Eyeglasses are a real big issue. Clearly I have two of them, but I can put my sunglasses in these little pockets too. So that's all they are. They're just like a little pencil pocket. I can just slip the arm in and hang them there. I have a catch-all pocket down here. Remove some of the stuff out of it. But it basically is plastic, so I'm hoping it holds out and doesn't crack as it gets cold. I mean, it's pretty warm in the tent, but it's I don't know what the lifespan of that's going to be, but it's great for just, you know, putting, you know, the lip balm and the hand sanitizer, and a little bottle of hand sanitizer, just the little catch-all things that I want to keep at hand. And then this is my real pride and joy, is my tissue dispenser, which is fantastic. I have to say, I really love my tissue dispenser. I went all out on that and I use it all the time. And then I did put a hook on here, and that really is to hold things like my first aid kit and my toiletry kit. And this is a large toiletry kit. I decided I would expand on my winter toiletry kit. My summer one is really, really small and basic, but I thought for the winter I'm going to add a couple extra things. And so that just hangs there. So I'm really, really, really pleased with my organizer. Now I do have to give a shout out to David Bain, who inspired me, or should I say his partner inspired me, because she made him an organizer, and when I saw it I thought, oh my god, I have to make something like that. It was amazing. And she did basically this type of thing. The difference is I used canvas, because I had some canvas at home, and I did use some elastic, which really helped, and just kind of took it up a notch, I think, on that. So I'm hoping that this lasts a long time and serves me well. It seems to be serving me well now, because in such a small space, it's hard to keep things organized. My stove is smoking away. Got my wood back there, a couple Envirologs too, which I'll use tonight. Got some water. I've got another bottle of water lying on the ground there that's frozen, so it's near the stove, so it should melt up pretty good there. Now I normally wouldn't bring a big cooler like that and a whole bunch of fresh food, but it is front country camping. It's a walk-in campsite, so I don't mind the extra weight bringing in all the luxuries. And the last thing I wanted to show was, I'm just going to move my anorak off there, is my bedding, which of course I've got my wool blanket on top, but underneath I have another wool blanket. And what I did with this one is it goes all the way under my hammock, or my sleeping bag, but I actually have it on the one side. It's Velcroed. If I can get it apart, it's all Velcroed. And the Velcro goes all the way down the side and all the way around the foot box. So then I just take my sleeping bag and I slip it inside my little burrito pocket wool blanket, and then I put my other wool blanket on top. And what that does is it keeps the gray wool blanket from shifting around at night. It stays wrapped around me, and it also means that the red blanket stays on top of me because it clings to the gray blanket too. And I found that has worked really, really well sleeping out in the cold. So just a couple things that I do in my little 8x8 snow tracker. I think I'm going to put some water on and make a hot drink now. Well, the girls are down by the campfire and they are getting their stew ready for dinner. I don't eat beef, so I'm making something separate for myself, and I'm trying something new. I'm going to try smoking some fish in my pot. So I have some alder wood chips. These are very, very fine wood chips, and they are for smoking. And I'm just going to put them in the pot. I want to... Oh, is that too much? That might be a little bit too much. I want to basically, sorry, filming is horrible when you have one hand. I'll take a little bit out. You want to basically have enough to kind of cover the bottom of your pot, okay? And then you're going to use whatever non-poisonous branches you have at your disposal. Now, I'm front country camping, so I chose to bring some branches with me. And these are actually from my apple tree in the front yard at home. So I'm going to put some branches in there. Brought quite a bit, actually. Now you could use spruce and pine too. Maple, if you were backcountry, would be great. And then I'm going to just take my salmon, and that's going to go on top of the branches. If I can get it out of the bag, well, it helps if I unzip both bags. There we go. Okay, it's a big piece of salmon. So lovely. And then I'm going to take a piece of tin foil and I'm going to cover that loosely, and that's going to go on the fire at the pit for about 10, maybe 15 minutes. I think 10 minutes ought to do it. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I should have some smoked fish for dinner. Let's go and do it. Okay, it's smoked up really good, and it's nice and tender and flaky. And it took like 10 minutes, so perfect. Absolutely wonderful. I'm definitely going to do that backcountry. Is a stew something you like to make on most of your trips? Hi, well, it is Sunday early afternoon. It's about noon, I guess, now. I'm going to pack up the tent shortly and head on home. I've brought one load of goods to the car, but I still have to make the trek with the big gear. So, before I leave, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about my clear acrylic door because it isn't actually finished. My sewing machine broke while I was doing it, and it's going to be a month before I get it back. Quite frankly, my sewing machine is not heavy duty enough to be able to handle the weight of sewing the canvas and the acrylic clear plastic. So I have some work to do still on it, but it served me fine for the trip. But I just want to show you technically what I did with it. Because there was the option to do two separate halves that zip up and down in the center, but because my door is so small, I really just wanted an unobstructed view of the outside, which meant for a not very pretty opening and closing of the door. It's not particularly functional. If I wanted to do something really functional, it would have taken me a lot more effort and time. It would have meant putting probably a zipper up the center. And ideally, it would have even been nice to be able to do a zip attachment for the acrylics themselves to the sides of the tent so they zipped on and off. But that takes a lot more time and effort, and then you've got to get the zippers, the appropriate sizes and stuff, and really I just wanted to get this done so I could take it out this weekend. Maybe eventually I'll do that, I don't know. But I'll just show you what I did. It's quick, it's fairly easy as long as you've got a machine that can handle the weight of the work. So I just have mine tied back with a simple tie back on my one support post on my tent, and then I have Velcro, which I have to finish here because, as I said, my machine broke, so I wasn't able to finish the Velcro on the top, but it will be Velcroed on the top, and Velcro goes all the way to the side. Now, the one thing that I discovered, it worked at home, but for some reason when I set up in the field, it seems really a tight stretch. So I'm probably going to redo it at home and move the Velcro that's sewed to the tent itself. I'm going to move it in a little bit because I really have to pull that door over in order to actually connect the two Velcro pieces. So I'm probably going to end up having to redo it. It worked fine for this weekend, but there's still some work to be done. But I love the effect that it's really simple when you do close it. It's you've got this tiny door, but you see everything outside, which is fantastic, and that was the point of it. Because here at Silent Lake, the view is spectacular.